If you're a nice guy, you do everything you can to make others happy, but at the same time, you aren't getting the love that you feel you deserve in your relationships, and you're often exhausted, burnt out, anxious from having to do so much for everybody else. Yet, when they do things that you don't like, you don't speak up about it. Because deep down, you fear conflict. And even when you're hurt, you still feel guilty that you're not doing enough for them. If that sounds like you, then this is a video for you. I'll be breaking down the behaviors to spot to check if you're wounded or not, how to heal from these wounds so you can get the love that you deserve, and a few tips about the process. So the context for this video is romantic relationships, and the first biggest sign that you are coming from a mother wound in your romantic relationship is that your woman has these three areas and they're imbalanced with your three areas. Her happiness, her freedom, and her responsibility for her own emotions. You have put all of these so far above yours that you often find yourself being controlled and drowning in the things that she wants, instead of having a sense of autonomy and freedom for yourself. What I mean by that is that her sense of happiness is an overriding priority to you above your own. She has freedom to speak, do as she wishes, even if it's disrespectful, overly critical, or even abusive, or even cheating towards you. And the third area of self-responsibility, you don't hold her accountable for her own emotions, and neither does she, which allows her to excessively lean on you to solve her problems, to solve her emotions, to be there all the time, and she never really has to soothe or regulate her own emotions, which puts excessive pressure on you, and you end up exhausted by this responsibility. If we look at those same three qualities in you, your happiness is seen as less important than hers, your ability to regulate yourself is all the way up here, so she's not doing as much for you as you do for her, and your sense of freedom, autonomy, ability to read books, work out when you want, has really been squashed by this sense of guilt that you feel to please her, to always be there for her. On top of this, something inside of you knows that something's going wrong, that it's too much. And when she does things that are overtly wrong, overtly disrespectful, you'd rather not speak up about it. You'd rather let it slide to keep the peace going. Because deep down you fear conflict. You fear that if I speak up, she'll just get angry or accuse me of being uncaring. So it's better that I work harder and try harder to do the right thing. Give more love to be a better man, a more loving person. The bigger the imbalance where her priorities and her point of view become more important than yours, the more abusive the situation gets. Because the bigger the distance between these two parts, the more emotional neglect you are living in. The second big red flag is that your woman regularly gaslights you, meaning something in you knows that she's being unreasonably angry or critical or controlling towards you. Yet when you politely, respectfully speak up for yourself, she says, see, you're coming from trauma, or you're being unreasonable, or you're being uncaring. She may say things like, you don't even love me, or you always do this. And instead of showing the calmness and presence to really feel what you're feeling and understand you and your perspective, she just shuts it down or tells you that your perspective is less important than hers. The biggest red flag of all, and it hurts me to say this, but my eyes were recently opened to how badly some men are mistreated, is that your woman has even hit you or cheated on you, and you dare not speak up about it because you feel like she'll leave you if she finds out that you looked through her phone when you were actually correct that she's cheating on you. So you'd rather stay in a position where you're being abused and used than assert yourself and speak the truth that you have violated our relationship. When this level of abuse happens, you have a very skewed interpretation of it. For you, it must mean that I've done something wrong. Maybe I deserved this. Maybe I'm just not loving her enough. Or maybe if she just heals a bit more, if I guide her to the right areas, if she sees how pure my heart is, then she'll finally love and respect me enough. Now let's dive into the root cause of this, the mother wound. If you grew up with a mother who, for some reason, had to wear the trousers in her relationship, your father was passive, or your father abandoned her, or he mistreated her, and she had to take over things. She had to be very busy, running the chores, the bills. She was overwhelmed, she was often stressed, and as a result of all this unhappiness and feeling unloved in herself, she was highly critical and controlling towards you, and you didn't get the love, the emotional attention, the validation, the softness that you wanted. When you were a little boy, you could sense that mother is carrying anger, mother is carrying sadness, and because you loved her, you said to yourself, it's my job to do everything I can to take this unhappiness away. It's my job to give her the love that she doesn't have. But here's the problem. You were a little boy. You didn't know how to do that. And at the same time, you also knew it's not your job. So here you are, torn in this state of feeling responsible for your beloved mother's state, wanting to take her pain away, but not knowing how you could do it. So you live to this day with this inner sense of powerlessness. And that sense of helplessness is actually the fuel for you to do everything you can to work hard, to people please, to keep her happy. And that is the software system that you are running on. Guys, let me tell you, this is a dangerous and painful place to be, because if your system says, I am a person who is here to take away the pain, anger, sadness of others, it means for the rest of your life, you are literally looking for unhappiness, people who need to be fixed or saved, and therefore you're not looking for mutual respect. You're not looking for love to be reciprocated. You're actually looking to betray yourself, abandon yourself, and to keep re-experiencing what you felt with your mother. So you'll manifest this situation of silencing your truth, bottling up your feelings, working really hard, getting stressed, overthinking. Will everything be okay? What is the right thing to do? What more can I do? Twisting yourself into knots, and yet in the end, there's this void inside where you feel, I still haven't done enough. And the people around you, the situations from work life to social life to hobbies will keep mirroring back to you, yes, you're right, you're not enough. If you've watched to this point, what you need to know is that what I'm about to say now is coming from genuine experience from countless men and women worldwide who have this emotional wound. And I have seen the exact steps of how to heal this. I've seen the incredible results that flow when you heal this wound. It starts with this: silencing the mind so that the overthinking and the wounded thoughts stop. Personally, I lead people through deep breathing and states of altered consciousness through really profound meditations. After the wounded thoughts have stopped and they can no longer pull you into false narratives, you'll have access to deeper truths in your subconscious mind. In that state, if you ask yourself a question such as, where did I first learn to betray myself? Your system is intelligent enough that it will give the answer to you in a single moment. You will see the core memory or wound where you learned to abandon yourself. For men with the mother wound, this is always some instance where they were ridiculed for having emotions, or they were shamed for wanting to pursue their own path in life rather than do what mommy wants and please mom. And that one moment of rejection or criticism from mom stung his little heart so much that he built barriers around it. He said, okay, it's not safe to speak my truth. It's not safe to say how hurt I am. I should repress all my feelings and I should just do as I'm told and please everybody. And that becomes, it feels like a life or death situation, because for the little boy, if I don't make mom happy, we're all gonna die. That's why it's so hard for him to stop people pleasing, to relax, and to put his own feelings, his heart's desires, his mental health, his physical health, to put all these things first and truly nourish himself. If he were to nourish himself, he would feel like he is betraying his mother, and that's the glue that keeps him stuck in this identity. So once you find these core wounds, there's usually more than one of them, all you do is you nurture it with love, which I guide people through in my processes. And you can do this by visualizing light, by speaking loving words, anything that is full of positive vibration, power, kindness, respect, trust, unconditional love. And this changes you for life. If you do this right, everything has changed. Your life will become constantly more beautiful, constantly more relaxed. Because instead of being driven by guilt and unhappiness, you're now driven by your intuition, your heart's desires, and above all, you are full with your own love. There's a sense of wholeness in here. You're now coming from wholeness instead of trying to extract and squeeze and please breadcrumbs of love and approval from other people. That is significantly life-changing. Now, once you do this, and as you're in the process of this, which can take weeks, months, years, different for everybody, get ready to rub people off the wrong way, because when you break the identity of people pleaser, the yes man, and now you're not afraid to say no, you're not afraid to firmly but lovingly check people on their disrespectful behavior and tell them how they can and cannot speak to you because it's unloving or it makes you uncomfortable, and you can do that confidently and without guilt, they will be like, whoa, who's this guy? Is he being mean all of a sudden? Is he being unloving? And they may accuse you of those things, but you know it's not true so long as you are coming from love and respect. Now, the people pleaser in you will try to pull you back to the old identity and say, no, 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 don't do that, it's bad, or they're in pain, they deserve this love from you. Don't listen to those voices of the old identity. They will keep you drowning in pain, and they will keep your partner or the person drowning in their pain because you're enabling them to avoid self-responsibility, that quality I spoke about in the start. You nourishing yourself will teach and enable your partner to nourish themselves instead of enabling them to over-rely on you. So you're breaking an entire trauma dynamic and turning it into a conscious, healthy one. So that's a brief video talking about the mother wound in men, which causes them to be overly nice. And it's not true niceness, it's actually manipulation, a mask to try to fill that void inside by doing what everybody wants. But it actually never works, and you end up resentful, and because you bottle up your feelings, you explode them outwards later. So by implementing these steps and speaking up in the moment when something is going wrong, you no longer bottle up your feelings and you're healthy. If you found this video useful, please let me know in the comments. And I have an exciting offer for you. If you feel drawn to deep healing and you want my guidance for it, instead of just going away after this video and figuring it all out yourself, I can tell you, I've worked with countless people all over the world. You can also find me on Instagram, and you can look on my website and see testimonials from people who have sat with me in these programs. I can take your hand and guide you through a step-by-step process so that you are put in a safe atmosphere where you can discover that inner child, where you can nourish that core wound with a profound love that changes you forever. I'll leave the links down below, and I'll see you in the next one.